Hey guys, Agamatsu here today, and today I'm going to be talking about why, in my personal opinion, Deepwoken will undoubtedly be better than Rogue. And when I mean better, let me clarify. Better in terms of the combat, how long the game will last, and content. So you may be asking, okay, Agamatsu, how could you possibly know this? Well, obviously there's been a couple leaks. We already know the crab one. I'll show it up on the screen real quick. I'm just going to cut that off real quick because I assume most of you guys have already seen it. But from what we can tell from Magruser's tweets to Archmage's tweets, it seems like they're hiding a lot in terms of the combat and especially PvP. We saw a slight glimpse of this in, the interview that was legit, I believe, 6 months ago, like in April or something like that. I believe it was like March 30th, and now it's August 30th. So we can obviously assume that they've done a lot more for the combat. If you look at Rogue's combat, it's always been the same: swing sword, swing fist, swing spear, use your moves, infinite combo now, as that's what it really is nowadays. So yes, for sure we could definitely say Rogue's combat will be worse, or Deepwoken's combat will for sure be better. Now, obviously we don't know if certain builds, because we know that you're going to be able to have certain types of abilities, traits, and skills, of course. I don't know the exact name of them, but we know that eventually, this is my theory, that there'll be like a lot more toxic builds as time progresses that they'll probably have to nerf. But this is very easy to nerf, I would assume, since the game is more well designed from the ground up than Rogue is. So basically, the reason why infinite combos still exist in Rogue Lineage is because they're basically like, if we do it, we're gonna have to rewrite the entire game, which they don't want to do. So they might do it in the future one day and stop that, but they literally can't fix a simple issue. Because most people would just be like, okay, just make combos universal. Just make it so that on my fourth swing of the sword hit, if I switch to fist, it does the last hit of the fist hit, right? Easy. But they can't do that. They'd have to rewrite the entire game, according to what Arch said at least. But with Deepwoken, we can assume that problems like this can easily be fixable, as of course they learn from their mistakes, and as you know, the more you progress, the better you get, right? Just like Rogue Lineage. The more you progress in life or in coding, the better you should be at it. So we shouldn't really encounter problems like this so much in Deepwoken as we did Rogue. So things that was really annoying in Rogue, people would say, those punch combos, for example, what Faceless would do, Shinobi do, and also what other classes can do. One-shot moves or one-shot combos, like basically, let's just say a Deep Knight for Frozen chain pulls you and just demolishes your health. You already know if you get close, you're done for. Or like a CKDK, OG CKDK. That's probably not going to be in the game. Again, I'm saying probably. We don't know. There's still going to be progression. We can obviously assume that the really progressed guy can easily dominate the smaller or the lesser progressed guy, because that makes sense. But there actually might be a better chance because there's a lot more skill, as we can see, in the game than Rogue. It's just my personal opinion. When it comes to content, it's very easy to prove that Deepwoken may already have bested Rogue. Let's compare the Ice Dragon and then compare the crab monster. The crab monster, which according to some devs it's just a basic monster, or I believe the dude who made it, the builder, said it's just a basic monster, is already better than the Ice Dragon, something we rarely need to fight unless you're a Dragon Knight. So we can obviously see that the monster is already miles ahead of Rogue Lineage. We already see this crab displaying multiple types of attacks, grab, bubbles, etc. While the Ice Dragon is just, I don't even know what it does. It's just it hits you when you're under it. There's no animation for it. So I don't see how you would say the content would be worse than Rogue, unless you consider okay, well, if you like classes and progression, I still don't understand. As people have said, Rogue is just hit things, get skill. Obviously you would need chaotic and orderly to progress, but however, it's just not the case with Deepwoken, we can assume, because they already clarified that there's not going to be that type of system in the game. or one thing people seem to bring up a lot, is that it's the rogue community playing the game and the community is going to ruin the game. Personally, I feel like that's not really a good argument. Sure, it was the community that found all these issues like infinite combos. However, if they weren't in the game in the first place, then there wouldn't be no argument that the community ruined the game. Let's just say, for example, the issue of, what's a big issue? A lot of people don't like the fact that, let's just say, for example, Ultras going around just killing anybody they see. This can easily be fixed. I believe adding in multiple modes to alleviate the boredom of just being in Gaia can easily fix this. People don't want to go to K for multiple reasons as well, which if you look in Arch's newest poll, you can see that he's actually trying to fix this problem as well, as it would appear. So some ways that we could easily alleviate this would be adding Conquest in Gaia. Everybody talks about that, but that's not the only way in my opinion. Conquest in Gaia would be a big help for people who just don't want to gank random people all the time. Maybe ranked mode, 1v1, 2v2s, 3v3s. Just a couple ideas that would just make it so that there's nothing to do. Of course, the thing is they're not going to add this in Deepwoken. So some people could be like, okay, well if there's not going to be anything in Conquest, if there's not going to be no Conquest, then the game's going to be a lot more toxic. Again, I can't clarify whether it's going to be toxic or not. We just have to wait on the game, but according to some of the leaks I see and how the gameplay looks to be, since it's a lot more grounded, it's probably going to be less toxic in my opinion. But of course, toxicity depends on the player base and not the game usually. But again, the player base is usually formed around how the game is. So if the game is, permadeath hardcore, there's going to be a lot more toxicity than a game like Project JoJo, where you're just kind of vibing with your stand. So yeah, those are just a couple examples I have of why, in my opinion, Deepwoken will be better than Rogue, undoubtedly. It just seems to have a lot more better content. Oh, also not to mention the fact, anti-exploitation. Like I don't see a way for exploiters to really be exploiting as well or as much as they did in Rogue, when the game, of course, again, is built from the ground up. But of course, if you guys have your opinions, please leave them in the comment section down below. And if you think Rogue will be better than Deepwoken, please let me know why. If I understand some people were like, oh well, the community is gonna like Rogue better than Deepwoken, or a lot of the community will like Rogue better than Deepwoken, but I'm saying objectively Deepwoken will of course be a better game, more content, longer development time, I assume a better mod team. I'm not saying the mods are bad now, I'm just saying that's what they said. There's going to be a different mod team, so I assume they're going to be a better mod team. As time progresses, which mods to pick and which mods not to pick. So objectively, there would be a better mod team, I guess you could say. I'm not saying they're bad now, I'm just saying. And then I suppose finally the last thing would be just how long the game lasts. Oh, I didn't get into that. Okay, real quick, I think the game's gonna probably last longer than Rogue because there's more content than Rogue. That's as simple as it is. Yeah, that's all I really have to say, guys. So thank you guys for watching. Just a quick video on why I think Deepwoken will be better than Rogue. Hope you guys have a nice day. New video coming soon. Peace.